Hi, my dear friends. In this session, we shall discuss investment decisions under certainties models. First, introduction. Risk adjusted discount rate approach is an estimation of the present value of cash for high risk investments. A very common example of risk investment is the real estate. Risk adjusted discount rate is representing the required periodical returns by investor for pulling the funds to the specific property. It is generally calculated as a sum of risk free and risk premium. The variation of risk premium is depending on the risk aversion of the investors and the perception of investors about the size of the property's investment risk. Risk adjusted discount rate is equal to risk free rate plus risk premium. Under the CAPM or capital asset pricing model, risk premium is equal to market rate of return minus risk free rate into beta of the project. The risk adjusted discount rate declares for that by altering the rate depending on possibility of risk of investment projects. For higher risk investment project, a higher rate will be used, and for a lower risk investment project, a lower rate will be used. The net present value is inversely proportional to the risk adjusted discount rate, as an increase in adjusted rate will decrease the net present value, representing that the risk task is less acceptable and perceived as a riskier one. A rate which would be used to discount the cash flow is the sum of risk-free rate and compensation for investment risk. Suppose risk-free rate is 10% and compensation of investment risk is 5%. Then a rate of 15% will be used for discount cash flows. Decision rule. A. The risk adjusted approach can be used for both net present value and internal rate of return. In simple, NPV and IRR. B. If NPV method is used for evaluation, the NPV would be calculated using risk adjusted rate. If NPV is positive, the proposal would qualify for acceptance. If it is negative, the proposal would be rejected. Next, C. In case of IRR, the IRR would be compared with the risk adjusted required rate of return. If the required rate of return exceeds the adjusted rate, the proposal would be accepted, otherwise not. So next, factors affecting investment decisions. Investment can be said to be an art. Many people invest money without knowing what they are doing. Only a few people really understand the art of investing money. They invest according to the certain principles. There are also certain factors that affect the investment decisions. All those are done mainly to increase the return on the investment and also to keep the risk to a minimum. The various factors that affects the investment decisions are given below. Number 1, rate of return. The main reason for people investing money is to earn a high return on the investment. An individual may have various investments. Some may be fixed investment and other may be high risky equity investments. The individual has to periodically analyze the rate of return that is being earned from various investments. The portfolio of the investment may have to be readjusted depending upon the rate from each of the investment. This will help the investor to earn an increased rate of return from various investments. Second factor, inflation. Each of the person's investments have to beat the inflation rate present at the time for the return on investment to be positive. If the inflation rate is more than the return on the investment of a person, then the return is negative when inflation is taken into consideration. Any investment has to beat the inflation to be efficient. Third one is liquidity. The investor has to understand the need to have money in hand for either an emergency or even a sudden change in investment strategy to earn a high rate of return on the investment. The equity market can have a sudden knee-jerk reaction to any new and may create a buying opportunity. If this has to be used, the individual should have enough liquidity to invest in time. Liquidity is a very important factor in any prudent investment. People who invest without liquidity are likely to lose many golden opportunities that present from time to time for investment. Fourth one is tax benefits. Tax benefits are very important aspect to be considered when a person is investing. Tax can wipe away the return on investment if the investment is not done wisely. There are various investment options that are taxed highly. There are other investments for which returns are either not taxed or have a low tax. The individual has to understand the tax laws of the land and invest accordingly to make high return on investment. Last but not least one, fifth factor, frequency of return. The frequency with which the individual gets return on his investment is also very important. These have to be very carefully followed for efficient reinvestment and also for use of the return for various needs of the individual. A part of the return on investment can be reinvested and the rest of the money should be used for any needs that may crop up. These are some of the most important things that have to be remembered when a person is investing hard earned money. Adequate research and precautions in the matter mentioned above will help to maximize return on investment. Thank you one and all.